You're nothing but dead weight, Aisha. Your black ass dragging us down like your ghetto family always does. David's voice sliced through the air, his face twisted in rage as he slammed his phone down. Aisha's heart pounded, her fists clenched at her sides. She had just glimpsed the messages, sweet, filthy texts from Emily, her so-called white best friend, the one who'd smiled at family dinners while whispering slurs behind her back. How long, David? How long have you and that white bitch been laughing at me? Aisha shot back, her voice steady despite the storm inside. David lunged forward, cutting her off mid-breath. Don't you dare call her that. Emily's real, fun, alive, not some burden like you, quitting your job to play nurse for my mom while expecting me to foot everything. His words hit like punches, each one laced with the racism he'd inherited from his family. Aisha's jaw tightened, teeth grinding as memories flashed. His mother's cold stares at their wedding, muttering about mixed mistakes, his father's refusal to shake her hand. She stepped closer, eyes locked on his. I cared for your dying mother for 3 years, David. Bathed her, fed her, held her when you wouldn't even visit. And this is my thanks? Thrown out because I'm black and not fun enough? He laughed, a sharp, cruel bark that echoed in her chest. Fun? You're a joke, Aisha. Always whining about systemic this and prejudice that. Emily gets it. She's one of us. White, fitting in without the drama. Aisha's breath caught, fury boiling up as he grabbed her arm, yanking her toward the door. Let go, she demanded, wrenching free, but he shoved her duffel bag at her feet, clothes spilling out. Pack your crap and get out. I'm done carrying you. Her pulse raced, nails digging into her palms as blood welled up. She bent to stuff the clothes back, but he kicked the bag aside. Hurry up, or I'll call the cops. Tell them a black woman's trespassing. The threat landed heavy, her mind reeling from the betrayal. Emily, who'd hugged her at barbecues, was now in his bed plotting this. Aisha straightened, spine rigid. You think this ends here? Your family's poison seeped into you, calling me your kind like I'm trash. David's eyes narrowed, pulling out his wallet and flinging a crumpled $50 bill at her face. It smacked her cheek, stinging sharply. There, start your new life with that. It's more than your kind deserves. Pain exploded in her chest, but she snatched the bill, crumpling it in her fist. His mother called then, her voice blaring from the phone speaker he'd left on. Good riddance, David. She was never family. Too dark, too demanding. Aisha's vision blurred with hot tears she refused to let fall, her body trembling as David opened the door, shoving her into the night. Rain slapped her skin, but the real chill was his final sneer. Go crawl back to your people. We're done. The door slammed, locking her out, the echo ringing in her ears as betrayal and racism fused into one crushing blow. She stood there, soaked, the $50 burning in her pocket like a curse. But deep down, a spark ignited, resilience forged in generations of struggle. She turned, walking away, each step fueling a quiet vow. This wasn't the end. It was her beginning. Inside, David paced, guilt flickering before he texted Emily. She's gone. Come over. But Aisha, blocks away now, clutched her bag tighter, the weight of injustice propelling her forward. She recalled Emily's fake smiles, the subtle digs about her hair, her accent, now exposed as knives. Her mind raced to survival. Find shelter, regroup. The gas station loomed ahead, neon lights cutting through the dark. She pushed open the door, dripping wet, ready to face whatever came next. Alvin, behind the counter, looked up, recognition dawning. Aisha, what happened? But she waved him off, buying water first, steadying her breath. The betrayal stung, but she wouldn't break. Not here, not now. Aisha's chest heaved as the door's slam echoed in her skull, rain pounding her like accusations. She stood frozen on the porch, the $50 clenched in her fist, its edges cutting into her palm. You think you've broken me, David? She whispered to the closed door, her voice raw but unbroken. No begging, no screams, just steel in her spine. She slung the duffel over her shoulder, the weight pulling at her soaked sweatshirt, and turned into the storm. Each step splashed defiance, her sneakers squelching through puddles that mirrored her blurred vision. David's words replayed, "Your kind deserves nothing," but she shoved them down, teeth grinding as resolve surged. "One day you'll choke on that prejudice," she muttered, the words of vow etched in her blood. The streetlights flickered, casting long shadows that danced like mocking ghosts, but Aisha marched on, head high, refusing to glance back. Her mind raced through the years, endless nights wiping his mother's brow, ignoring the slurs from family gatherings where she was the exotic outsider. Emily's betrayal burned hottest, the white woman who'd braided her hair once, only to stab her in the back. "Fake friend, real racist," Isha hissed, wiping rain from her eyes with a sleeve. She reached the corner, wind whipping her face, and paused under a flickering sign. No tears fell. She bit her lip until it bled, the copper taste fueling her fire. "I'm worth more than your scraps," she declared to the empty street, voice cutting through the downpour. The duffel dragged, but she hoisted it higher, muscles aching in protest. Blocks blurred into one another, her breath coming in sharp bursts, but surrender wasn't an option. Generations of black women whispered in her ear, "Survive, thrive, spite them all." She spotted the gas station ahead, neon buzzing like a beacon. Pushing through the door, warmth hit her like a slap, but she straightened, dripping on the linoleum. Alvin looked up from the counter, eyes widening. "Aisha! Girl, you look like hell dragged you through it." She forced a nod, setting the bag down with a thud. "David, he threw me out, with this." She slapped the $50 on the counter, her hands steady. Alvin's face hardened, grabbing a towel. "That white boy? After all you did for his mama? Sit down, dry off." But Aisha shook her head, pride flaring. "No pity, just water, and directions to a motel." He handed her a bottle, waving off payment. "On me. And listen, my sister's got a spare room if you need." Aisha's jaw set, accepting the water but not the offer yet. "I'll manage. Black women always do." She twisted the cap, gulping down the cool liquid, washing away the bitterness. Outside, the rain eased to a drizzle, but inside her, a storm brewed, fury mixed with unyielding grace. She paid for the water anyway, sliding the $50 across, getting change back. "Keep the rest," she said, but Alvin pushed it away. "Nah, you keep fighting." Her lips curved in a grim smile, the first crack in her armor. Picking up the bag, she stepped back into the night, the door jingling behind her. The motel across the street loomed, cheap and uninviting. But it was hers now, a step toward reclaiming. She crossed the road, tires hissing past, and entered the lobby, the clerk barely glancing up. "Room for one," Aisha said, voice firm, handing over cash. Key in hand, she climbed the stairs, each creak echoing her resolve. In the room, she dropped the bag, staring at her reflection in the cracked mirror, eyes fierce, unbowed. "They tried to bury me," she whispered, fists clenching, "but I'm a seed." She peeled off wet clothes, the chill seeping into her bones, but warmth spread from within. No calls to family yet. Pride demanded she stand alone first. She sat on the bed, the springs groaning, and pulled out her phone. Messages from Emily popped up, fake concern. "Heard about the fight. You okay?" Aisha deleted them, blocking the number with a swipe. No more white lies. Exhaustion tugged, but she fought it, unpacking the duffel with deliberate moves. Clothes folded neatly, a small act of control. The $50 minus motel fee sat on the nightstand, a reminder. She picked it up, smoothing the bill. "This buys my freedom." Sleep came fitfully, dreams of David's sneer morphing into Emily's smirk. But morning would bring clarity. For now she lay still, breathing deep, her silence a weapon heavier than any scream. The rain tapped the window, a rhythm matching her heartbeat, steady, unbroken. Tomorrow she'd rise, but tonight, dignity wrapped her like armor. And as the clock ticked, a quiet power built, ready to explode into something they could never touch. Aisha jolted awake at dawn, the motel's thin sheets twisted around her legs like chains. "Can't stay here forever," she growled to the empty room, swinging her feet to the cold floor. Her body ached from the night's walk, but she shoved the pain aside, splashing water on her face from the rusty sink. Mirror showed bruises under her eyes, not from fists, but from betrayal's grip. She grabbed the remaining cash, stuffing it into her pocket with the $50 bill's ghost lingering. Time to move. Stepping out, the morning air bit sharp, but she headed back to the gas station, bag slung over her shoulder. Alvin was still there, wiping the counter with a rag, his eyes lighting up as she pushed through the door. Back already? Thought you'd crash longer. Isha set the bag down with a thud, her stance unyielding. Need more than a room. Need a plan. He nodded, tossing the rag aside. I know that look. Sit. She perched on a stool, fists on the counter. You remember me from the hospital? I helped with your mom, changed her beds, talked her through the pain when no one else would. Alvin's face softened, leaning in. How could I forget? You were the only one who saw her as human, not just another patient. Black nurses like you saved us. Aisha's jaw tightened, the memory flashing, his mother's frail hand in hers whispering thanks amid the beeps. Yeah, well, now I'm the one needing saving. He poured coffee, sliding it over Black and Strong. Drink and listen. My place has a spare couch. No charity. You earn it by helping around. She gripped the mug, steam rising like her doubts. Why? You barely know me. Alvin crossed his arms, voice firm. Because Black folks stick together. David's world tossed you out. Mine pulls you in. Her pulse steadied, the offer landing like a lifeline. Fine, but just till I stand. He grinned, grabbing keys. Deal. Shift ends in an hour. Wait here. Aisha sipped the coffee, its bitterness matching her resolve. As minutes ticked, she scanned the counter, lottery tickets gleaming under glass. Stupid hope, she muttered, but her fingers itched. Alvin returned, locking up. Come on. They walked to his apartment nearby, a modest brick building with kids playing out front. Inside, it smelled of spices and home. Nothing like David's sterile house. Couch is yours, he said, pointing. And tomorrow I've got a hookup, a volunteer gig at the Black Women's Shelter downtown. They need hands-on cooking, counseling basics. Pays a little, builds a resume. Isha dropped her bag, sinking onto the couch. Shelter? For women like me? He nodded, serious. Exactly. Abused, evicted, discriminated. You'll fit right in. Hell, you'll lead. She unpacked slowly, folding clothes with precision, each crease a barrier against chaos. Thanks, Alvin, but what's the catch? He chuckled, low and real. No catch, just pay it forward, like you did for Mom. A hidden detail nagged. In his wallet, a faded photo of his mother, the one Aisha had nursed, with a note scribbled on the back. Something about old debts from a community fund. She glimpsed it as he paid for takeout, but shrugged it off. Food's on me, he said, handing her a plate of ribs. They ate in silence, the TV murmuring news about lottery jackpots. Aisha's eyes flicked to the screen. $10 million drawing soon. Fool's game, she said, but Alvin shrugged. Sometimes fools win. Night fell, and on the couch, she twisted the $50 bill in her hands. Buy food or tomorrow at the shelter, she'd decide. Morning came fast. Alvin drove her downtown, the shelter a sturdy building with murals of strong Black women. Inside, Maya, the director, shook her hand firmly. Alvin vouched for you. Start in the kitchen. Chop veggies, listen to stories. Aisha dove in, knife flashing through onions, her movements sharp. Women shared tales. Evictions, racist bosses, cheating husbands. Sounds familiar, she quipped, voice edged. By afternoon, she felt anchored, the work mending her cracks. On break, she slipped to the corner store, the $50 burning. One Powerball ticket, she told the clerk, picking numbers tied to pain, her wedding date, the day his mother died, her birth month as a Black woman rising. Ticket in pocket, she returned to the shelter, energy renewed. Alvin picked her up later. How'd it go? Like I belong, she admitted, the ticket a secret weight. But as they drove, a text buzzed. David, we need to talk. She deleted it, fist clenching. Not today. The apartment welcomed her back, but sleep brought dreams of numbers spinning, a mysterious envelope in Alvin's drawer catching her eye earlier, labeled Community Aid Fund. What debts? She pushed it aside, focusing on the spark. Help received, now to give back. The jackpot draw loomed, a wild card in her deck, and as rain pattered again outside, Aisha whispered, "Watch me turn this around." The stage is set for bigger battles, her alliances forming like armor against the storm ahead. $10 million? You think your black luck changes anything, Aisha? It's still my family's money you stole. David's text flashed on her phone, his words stabbing fresh as she clutched the winning ticket in Alvin's apartment. Aisha's fingers trembled, but she deleted the message with a swipe, her nails digging into the screen. "Not yours to claim," she snarled at the blank display, heart slamming against her ribs. The jackpot news hit her like a freight train last night, numbers matching on the TV, her breath stopping as reality crashed in. Now, with Alvin brewing coffee in the kitchen, she shoved the ticket into her bra, hidden and safe. "You okay?" he asked, sliding a mug over, his eyes sharp. She gripped it, knuckles whitening. "Trung, the lottery. That $50 turned into 10 mil. Alvin's jaw dropped, but he recovered fast, fist bumping the air. "Damn, girl, black excellence strikes back." Aisha's lips twisted in a fierce grin, adrenaline surging. But David's sniffing already. "I need to build something. My path, not his shadows." He nodded, pulling out his phone. "Let's move. First, lawyer up. I know a black attorney downtown, handles trusts, keeps winners low-key." They bolted out the door, Aisha's steps pounding the pavement, bag over her shoulder like a shield. In the car, she fired questions. "What's her name?" "Linda Hayes, sharp as a blade, fought discrimination cases." Aisha's pulse raced, visions of freedom clashing with fear. At the office, Linda leaned forward, eyes locking with hers. "Congratulations, but stay smart. Set up a trust. Sunrise Empowerment, Anonymous." Aisha signed papers with steady hands, the pen scratching like victory. "Use it for a center, helping black women escape racists like my ex." Linda's nod fueled her fire. Back at the shelter, Aisha dove deeper, chopping carrots with fury, sharing her win in whispers to Maya. "I'm funding this place bigger. Classes, job training." Maya's hug squeezed tight. "You're a force." But David's calls buzzed nonstop. She blocked him, fist clenching. Alvin tagged along to interviews, first at a community college for business courses. The dean, a white man, eyed her resume. "Caregiver? Quaint, but gaps here." Aisha leaned in, voice cutting. "Gaps? I nursed a dying woman while dodging her family's slurs." "That's strength." He backpedaled, enrolling her fast. Classes started brutally, nights poring over books, Alvin quizzing her. "What's equity financing?" He'd bark. "Ownership shares," she'd snap back, brain firing. Her body screamed exhaustion, but she pushed, muscles taut. Weekends at the shelter turned electric. She led workshops, voice booming. "Racism hits hard. Evictions, cheats, but we rise." Women nodded, eyes fierce, her words igniting sparks. One evening, Alvin drove her to a bank, trust funds flowing. "Open accounts, invest smart." She wired donations anonymously, chest swelling. But Emily texted then, "Heard about your win. David's hurting. Talk?" Aisha's blood boiled. She replied, "Stay away, traitor." Block. The hunt intensified, scouting buildings for her center. A realtor, white and slick, showed a rundown spot. "Cheap for your type." Aisha's eyes narrowed, stepping close. "My type builds empires." "Cut the price," he stammered, dropping it. Alvin high-fived her outside. "Boss, move." Construction plans unfolded. She sketched layouts, fingers flying. "Therapy rooms here, job boards there." Investors met, black entrepreneurs nodding in approval. "Your story sells. Resilience sells." Deals closed with handshakes like iron. David's shadow loomed. A process server ambushed her at class. "Lawsuit, marital property." She snatched the papers, tearing through them later with Linda. "He claims half, says I bought the ticket on our time." Linda's laugh was cold. "We fight. Separation predates." Aisha's fist balled. channeling rage into action. She enrolled in self-defense, punches landing on bags with thuds echoing her heartbeat. For the next racist who tries, Alvin sparred with her, grunting. Hit harder. Sweat poured, but power built. Social media whispers grew, anonymous tips about her win, but she stayed offline, focus laser sharp. One night drafting center proposals, Alvin slid food over. Eat. You're building a legacy. She bit into the sandwich, juices dripping. For every black woman tossed out, grants poured in. She presented to boards, voice commanding. This center fights systemic hate, jobs, therapy, community. Applause thundered, her chest-pounding triumph. But a voicemail from David's mother hissed, "That money's white inheritance. Give it back." Aisha deleted it, slamming the phone. Over my body. The journey peaked at a networking event, black leaders circling. Partner with us, one said. Handshakes sealed alliances. Alvin pulled her aside. You're unstoppable. She nodded, fire in her eyes. With you helping. Yeah. As weeks blurred, her empire rose. Center groundbreaking set, courses aced. But doubts crept in quiet moments. She punched the air, banishing them. The ticket's power transformed her, from evicted to empire builder. Yet David's persistence gnawed. Another text. Meet me. We can settle. She ignored it, but tension coiled. The real test brewed, alliances tested in fire. And as she locked the apartment door that night, a mysterious email pinged from an unknown sender, hinting at family secrets. Watch your back. Emily's not alone. Her breath caught, the hunt shifting gears. Keep your dirty hands off our legacy, Aisha. You'll never be one of us. David's mother's voicemail hissed, venom dripping through the phone. Aisha clutched at the black women's shelter, her jaw locked tight, teeth grinding as she deleted the message, the words slicing fresh wounds. White legacy? I'm building my own, she spat, slamming the phone onto the counter, its clatter echoing her fury. She stood in the shelter's kitchen, apron tied, knife flashing through potatoes, each cut a defiance of the racism that tried to bury her. The $10 million jackpot pulsed in her veins, not just money, but power to rise above David's betrayal, Emily's deceit, and his family's slurs. Her hands moved fast, chopping with precision, muscles taut from weeks of self-defense training. Women around her, sisters in struggle, stirred pots, their laughter a shield against the world's hate. Maya, the director, bumped her shoulder. You're glowing today, girl. What's up? Isha's lips curved, fierce. I'm not just surviving, I'm fighting back. She wiped sweat from her brow, the shelter's heat wrapping her like a hug. Every day here, she poured herself into the work, serving meals, leading talks, listening to stories of evictions and racist bosses that mirrored her own. My ex called me ghetto trash, one woman whispered, eyes down. Isha grabbed her hand, voice sharp. You're not trash, you're steel. We rise. The woman's nod fueled Aisha's fire. She moved to the common room, setting up chairs, her steps purposeful. A whiteboard listed job leads. She added 3 more, pen squeaking. Resumes tomorrow, she called out, voice commanding. Heads turned, hope flickering in tired eyes. A young girl, maybe 10, colored at a table. Purple horses like Aisha's dreams of freedom. You're strong, the girl said, shy. Aisha knelt, fist bumping her. So are you, kid. Her chest swelled, purpose anchoring her. Back in the kitchen, she hauled a tray of cornbread, the smell grounding her. Alvin dropped by, leaning on the doorframe. You're running this place like a queen. She smirked, tossing him an apron. Help or get out. He joined in, slicing collards, their rhythm syncing. Heard from David? He asked, eyes sharp. Aisha's knife paused, then struck harder. Keeps texting. Settle. Talk. I block him. Alvin nodded, slicing faster. He's scared. You're unstoppable. She snorted, but pride flared. After hours, she led a workshop. 20 women, black and battered, listening as she paced. They'll call you names, kick you out, but you don't break. You build. Her voice cracked with conviction, hands slicing air. Nods rippled. One woman clapped, then all did, the sound thundering in her ears. She ended with a vow. This center's growing. Jobs, therapy, us. No racist can touch that. Cheers erupted, her pulse racing. Alone later, she checked her phone. New trust fund alerts from Linda. Money flowed to the shelter. New computers, a counselor hired. She typed a thank you, fingers flying, then volunteered for night shift, folding blankets with care. Each fold was a brick in her empire, a middle finger to David's family. A memory hit. His mother's sneer at Thanksgiving. Your cooking's too ethnic. Now Aisha fed dozens, their gratitude sweeter than any white approval. She caught her reflection in a window, eyes fierce, unbowed. This is my world, she whispered, fists clenching. But David's shadow lingered. A letter arrived, slipped under the shelter door. His handwriting bold, entitled, You owe me, Aisha. That money's ours. She tore it up, pieces scattering like ash, but her gut twisted. Emily's text followed. He's hurting. Be fair. Aisha's laugh was cold, deleting them. She worked harder, training women in interview skills, her voice steady. Eye contact. Firm grip. You're worth it. A client landed a job. Aisha high-fived her, heart pounding. Night fell. She stayed late, scrubbing counters, the act calming her rage. Maya joined, rag in hand. You don't stop, do you? Aisha shook her head, scrubbing harder. Not till every sister here stands tall. Maya's smile was knowing. You're changing lives. Aisha's throat tightened, but she swallowed it down, hands raw. As she locked up, a newsstand caught her eye. Lottery winner, rumors swirling. Mystery black woman, the headline teased. Her stomach dropped. Exposure loomed. She hurried to Alvin's, collapsing on the couch. He handed her tea. Trouble? She nodded, showing the paper. They're sniffing. David's family won't quit. He leaned in, voice low. You've got us, community. Keep moving. She sipped, warmth spreading, but tension coiled. The shelter was her fortress, the women her army. She'd fight, not flee. Before sleep, she checked emails. Linda's update. Trust secure, but a new message pinged, anonymous. David's family's hiding something. Check Emily's old emails. Her breath caught, fingers hovering. The shelter's laughter echoed in her mind, a reminder of why she fought. She shut the laptop, resolving hardening. Let them come, she whispered, fists tight. The world she'd built here, unbreakable, black, proud, was just the start. And as she lay down, the mysterious email burned in her thoughts, a fuse ready to light the next battle. You think a black woman like you gets to walk away with my family's future? David's voice cut like a blade through the shelter's crowded common room, his polished shoes clicking as he stormed in. Aisha froze, her hand gripping a stack of job applications, her pulse hammering in her throat. Women around her paused, mid-laugh, mid-story, eyes darting to the white man in a sharp suit, his face flushed with entitlement. Get out, David, Aisha snapped, stepping forward, her voice a steel whip. This is my space, not yours. He smirked, leaning closer, cutting her off. Your space? Paid for with my money, Aisha. That $10 million ours. Marital property. Her fist bowled, nails biting into her palms, blood prickling. Ours? You threw me out with $50 and a slur. We're done. His eyes narrowed, voice dropping low, fake soft. I messed up, okay? Emily was a mistake. I was stressed. Mom's death, family pressure. I'm sorry. The words dripped poison, his apology a performance for the room. Aisha's jaw clenched, teeth grinding as she saw through it, his mother's voice in his, calling her too dark at their wedding. Sorry doesn't undo your racism or your cheating, she fired back, stepping closer, her frame unyielding. You want forgiveness? Prove it. Publicly admit you and your family's bigotry. He flinched, mask slipping, but recovered fast. Don't lecture me about bigotry. I loved you, married you despite. He stopped, but the word hung. Despite. Her stomach twisted, fury surging like a tide. Despite my blackness? Say it, David. He waved a hand, cutting her off again. Don't twist my words, let's settle. Split the money fairly, move on. Isha laughed, sharp and cold, the sound slicing the air. Fair? You toss me in the rain like trash. My condition? You get nothing. Walk away or I'll drag your family's dirty laundry to court. His face reddened, a vein pulsing at his temple. You'll regret this, he hissed, turning to leave, but not before tossing a business card at her feet. Clayton and Hurst, attorneys in gold print. She didn't bend to pick it up, her stare burning holes in his back as he strode out, the door slamming. Women whispered, but Aisha raised a hand, silencing them. He doesn't scare me, she said, voice steady, though her heart raced. She scooped the card, slipping it into her pocket, her fingers brushing the hidden lottery ticket's outline. Maya approached, eyes fierce. You handled him. But be careful. He's desperate. Aisha nodded, her mind already racing. Back at Alvin's apartment, she paced, the card burning a hole in her pocket. Alvin leaned on the counter, arms crossed. What's his game? She tossed the card down, its gold letters gleaming. He wants half, says it's his right. But that sorry was fake, I know it. Alvin's brow furrowed, handed her a beer. He's fishing. You set conditions? Good. Now what? She cracked the can, foam spilling, her grip tight. I fight. Linda's filing tomorrow. Trust's airtight. Separation predates the win. She sipped, the cold liquid grounding her. But as she set the can down, her phone buzzed. An email, not from Linda, but an anonymous sender. Check Emily's old emails to David. Family's hiding more than you think. Her breath caught, fingers hovering over the screen. What the hell, she muttered, showing Alvin. He squinted, voice low. Someone's watching his family. Dig into this. She nodded, heart pounding, but didn't open it yet, too raw from David's ambush. Instead, she sank onto the couch, replaying the confrontation. His fake tears, his mother's slurs echoing in his despite. She demanded he confess publicly, knew he wouldn't. Her condition wasn't just a wall, it was a trap forcing his hand. She grabbed her laptop, drafting a timeline for Linda. Eviction, $50 ticket purchase. Every detail is a bullet against his claim. Her fingers flew, each keystroke a jab. But the email nagged, a shadow in her mind. She opened it, password-protected files attached, no names. Emily's emails, she whispered, heart racing. She tried passwords. David's birthday, their wedding date, nothing. Frustration clawed at her, but she saved the file, slamming the laptop shut. Tomorrow, she told Alvin, who watched her like a guard. I'll crack it. He nodded, tossing her a blanket. Sleep. You're a warrior, but warriors rest. She lay down, the couch creaking, her mind a storm. David's card sat on the table, a taunt. She pictured Emily's smirk, her fake hugs, whispering slurs to David. The email's hint burned brighter. The family's hiding more. What? Aisha's fists clenched under the blanket, her body coiled like a spring. She'd built a world at the shelter, a fortress for black women. But David's threat loomed, his family's prejudice a noose tightening. She recalled Alvin's wallet photo, the cryptic community aid fund note. Another puzzle, maybe tied to this. Sleep evaded her. She rose, pacing again, the apartment's hum her only company. She checked her phone, Linda's text. Court papers ready? Stay sharp. Aisha's lips curved, grim. Oh, I'm sharp. She grabbed a pen, jotting plans. Shelter expansion, more classes, legal defense fund. Each word anchored her, defiance against David's world. But the email's shadow grew. What did his family hide? She stood at the window, city lights blurring, her reflection fierce. You want to fight, David? Bring it. The anonymous email sat like a bomb, its secrets ticking. Morning would bring answers, but tonight her condition stood firm. No surrender, no sharing. The shelter's faces flashed. Women she'd lifted, kids she'd hugged. This was her fight, for them, for her. And as she finally lay back, the couch her battleground, a single thought burned. Whatever David's family hid, she'd rip it open, exposing every lie. The war was just beginning, and Aisha was armed with truth. Your black empire won't last, Aisha. Our family's bloodline deserves that money, not your kind. David's mother, Margaret Reynolds, spat the words through the phone, her voice venomous as Aisha gripped the device in the shelter's office. Her knuckles whitened, fury sparking in her chest like a live wire. She just hung up from Linda, her lawyer, confirming the trust's ironclad setup when Margaret's call ambushed her. "You're nothing but a thief hiding behind a ticket," Margaret sneered, cutting Aisha off before she could respond. "David's suing, and I'm backing him. That Jackpot's white legacy, our legacy." Aisha's teeth ground, her pulse hammering as she paced the cramped room, papers scattering on the desk. "Legacy? You mean the bigotry you fed him? Calling me ghetto at my wedding?" Margaret laughed, sharp and cold, slicing through the line. "You were never family, just a charity case we tolerated. Emily's better suited. She's one of us." The name hit like a slap. Emily, the fake friend who'd wormed into David's bed, her white privilege a blade in Aisha's back. "Emily's a liar who used me," Aisha shot back, voice a steel edge. "And you're a racist who raised a coward." Margaret's gasp crackled, but she barreled on. "Watch yourself, girl. We're coming for that money, and your little shelter will burn if you don't settle." The threat landed heavy, Aisha's breath hitching as she slammed the phone down, her hands trembling. She sank into a chair, nails digging into her thighs, the sting grounding her. Margaret's face flashed, her pinched lips at Thanksgiving, muttering about Aisha's ethnic cooking, her refusal to touch the cornbread. Now this, teaming with David and Emily to destroy her. Aisha's jaw locked, resolve hardening. "Try me," she hissed to the empty room. She grabbed her laptop, fingers flying to email Linda. "Margaret's in on the lawsuit," threatened the shelter. The reply pinged fast. "Document everything. We're ready." Aisha's chest heaved, but she stood, pacing again, her sneakers squeaking on the linoleum. At the shelter's kitchen, she dove into work, slicing onions with brutal precision. Each cut a strike against Margaret's hate. Maya caught her arm. "You okay? Looks like you're fighting ghosts." Aisha's lips twitched, grim. "Not ghosts, vipers. David's mom wants my money, says it's white property." Maya's eyes narrowed, handing her a knife. "Cut harder. We've got your back." Aisha nodded, slicing faster, the blade's rhythm syncing with her heartbeat. Women around her murmured, sharing glances, sisters who'd faced the same hate. One whispered, "My boss called me urban trash, fired me for nothing." Aisha gripped her shoulder, voice firm. "They don't define us, we rise." The words fueled her, her body taut with purpose. But Margaret's threat echoed, a noose tightening. She slipped to the office, checking security cameras, newly installed with Jackpot funds. A black SUV lingered outside, too familiar. David's? Or worse, Margaret's? Her gut twisted, but she snapped a photo, texting it to Alvin. "Trouble's circling," he replied. "On my way." At his apartment that night, Aisha showed him the call log. "Margaret's leading this. Says the shelter's a target." Alvin's fists clenched, voice low. "They're scared. You're building power they can't touch." She nodded, sipping tea, but her mind raced to the anonymous email from yesterday. Emily's emails hide family secrets. Margaret's call confirmed it. Something bigger brewed. She cracked her knuckles, the pop sharp in the quiet. "They want a war? I'm ready." Alvin leaned in. "We hit back. Legal, smart." "Linda's got dirt?" Aisha nodded, pulling up Linda's notes. "Margaret's linked to old business deals, shady ones." Aisha's eyes narrowed. "She's not just a racist, she's a schemer." She stood, pacing, her shadow sharp on the wall. The shelter's faces flashed. Women she'd fed, kids she'd hugged. Margaret's threat wasn't just personal, it was an attack on them all. Aisha grabbed her phone, recording a voice memo. "Margaret Reynolds, 8:03 p.m., threatened to destroy my shelter. Called the money white legacy." Her voice shook with rage, but she saved it, sending it to Linda. The next day, she doubled down at the shelter, training volunteers with fierce focus. "Lock doors at night. Watch for strangers." Her hands moved fast, organizing files, her body a coiled spring. A news van parked nearby, reporters sniffing lottery rumors. Aisha ducked them, hood up, but Margaret's voice haunted her. "You're kind." She spat on the ground, defiance burning. Back at Alvin's, she scoured the anonymous email again, still locked. "What's your family hiding, Margaret?" she muttered, trying passwords. Her maiden name, the wedding date, nothing. Her fist slammed the table, pain shooting up her arm. She wouldn't break. The shelter's expansion plan sat open. Blueprints for therapy rooms, job centers. Her empire, black and proud, stood against their hate. But Margaret's alliance with David and Emily loomed, a triple threat. Isha's breath steadied, her eyes locking on the email's cryptic warning. Secrets waited, buried in code, ready to unravel. And as she shut the laptop, her reflection glared back, unbowed, unbroken, a warrior forged in fire, ready to face the next blow. Spill it, Aisha, or we expose your little black charity scam to the press. Margaret's text flashed on Aisha's phone, her venom searing through the screen as Aisha stood in the shelter's office, her fists slamming the desk. The words burned, each one a jab at her pride, her people, her fight. She deleted the message, her nails digging into her palm, blood prickling as she fought the urge to scream. Margaret's threat from last night, calling the Jackpot white legacy and targeting the shelter, still echoed, but that anonymous email haunted her more. Check Emily's old emails to David. Family is hiding more. Her jaw locked, teeth grinding as she opened her laptop, the mysterious file staring back, some password still unbroken. "What's your game, Margaret?" she hissed, her breath sharp. Alvin burst in, his face taut. "Saw that SUV again, circling. They're watching." Aisha's pulse spiked, her fingers flying to forward Margaret's text to Linda. "They're escalating. We dig now." Alvin nodded, pulling a chair close, his knuckles cracked. "That email, let's crack it. I know a guy, a tech nerd, who owes me." Aisha's eyes narrowed, handing him the laptop. "Do it. Fast." They drove to a small apartment across town, where Marcus, a wiry black coder with glasses, greeted them. "Alvin says you've got a locked file. Gimme." Aisha hesitated, then slid the laptop over, her heart pounding. "Emails from my ex's mistress. Something about his family's secrets." Marcus's fingers danced, cracking the file in minutes. "Old email server. Emily's sloppy." Aisha leaned in, her breath catching as emails loaded. Dozens between Emily and David, dating back a year. Her eyes scanned, fury rising. "Can't wait to be rid of her black baggage," Emily wrote. David replied, "Mom's got a plan. Trust me." Aisha's fist clenched, nails biting deeper. "Plan? What plan?" Marcus scrolled, pulling up more. One email from Margaret to Emily chilled her. "Once she's out, the money's ours. David's weak, but I'm not." Aisha's stomach twisted, her voice a low growl. "They plotted my eviction before the ticket." Alvin's hand gripped her shoulder, steadying her. "Keep reading." She did, each word a knife. Margaret's instructions to Emily to push David, references to a family fund tied to shady deals. Aisha's mind raced. Alvin's wallet photo, the community aid fund note. Connected? She grabbed her phone, texting Linda. "Found emails. Margaret planned my eviction. Dig into the Reynolds family business." Linda's reply was instant. "On it. Check their old company, Reynolds Realty." Aisha stood, pacing, her sneakers squeaking. "We need more. Public records, anything." Marcus hacked city archives, pulling filings. "Reynolds Realty, closed a decade ago. Fraud allegations buried. Looks like Margaret paid off officials." Aisha's eyes blazed, her fist slamming the table. "She's dirty, always was." They printed the emails, Aisha's hands trembling as she highlighted lines. Proof of Margaret's scheme to oust her, tie-ins to Emily's betrayal. But one email mentioned a past incident with a black employee, fired unjustly. "That's it," Aisha said, voice sharp. "Margaret's got skeletons." They hit the library next, digging through microfiche, old Columbus Dispatch articles. A 2003 headline, "Reynolds Realty sued for discriminatory firing." Aisha's pulse raced as she read. A black woman, Carla, fired after calling out racist policies, case settled quietly. "Margaret's name's all over this," she muttered, snapping photos. Alvin's eyes narrowed. "Carla might talk." They tracked her down, a nurse now at a local clinic. Aisha approached, heart pounding, her voice firm. "Carla, I'm Aisha Thompson. Margaret Reynolds ruined me too." Carla's eyes widened, then softened. "That witch fired me for being too outspoken. Called me racial slurs in court. Aisha's fists balled, her breath hot. She's after my lottery win now. Help me. Carla nodded, handing over a deposition transcript. Margaret's signature admitting bias, buried by payoffs. Aisha clutched it, her chest heaving. This buries her. Back at Alvin's, they spread evidence across the table. Emails, articles, Carla's transcript. Aisha's fingers traced Margaret's words. Get her out. Secure the legacy. Her blood boiled, but she channeled it, organizing files for Linda. This isn't just about money, she told Alvin, voice cutting. It's their hatred, systemic, generational. He nodded, stacking papers. You're exposing it all. She called Linda, voice steady. We've got proof. Margaret's fraud, racism, the works. File it. Linda's voice crackled with approval. This flips their lawsuit. Stay safe. Aisha hung up, her body coiled like a spring. But danger loomed. The SUV appeared again, idling near the shelter. Aisha snapped another photo, texting Linda. They're stalking. She worked late, training volunteers, her movements sharp. Watch the door, she told Maya, handing out schedules. Her hands shook, but her voice didn't waver. At the shelter, she led a job workshop, her words fierce. They'll call you names, block your path. But you're stronger. Women nodded, her fire igniting theirs. A kid hugged her leg, crayon in hand. You're our hero. Aisha knelt, fist bumping her. We're all heroes. But the emails burned in her mind. Margaret's plan wasn't just personal. It was a vendetta against her race, her shelter, her people. She checked cameras nightly, spotting a figure near the lot. Emily's silhouette? Her gut screamed ambush. At Alvin's, she pored over evidence again, her eyes bloodshot. Another anonymous email pinged. Look deeper. Reynolds Family Trust Fund. Her breath caught, fingers hovering. Trust fund? Alvin leaned in. Old money, dirty money. She cracked her knuckles, the pop sharp. We're close. They planned the next steps. Public records, more witnesses. Aisha's resolve hardened, her body taut with purpose. She grabbed Carla's transcript, reading Margaret's slurs aloud. Unfit for our image. She's done. Alvin nodded, his fist tight. Take her down. Aisha stood, pacing, her shadow sharp. The shelter's faces flashed. Women she'd lifted, kids she'd empowered. Margaret's scheme threatened them all. She texted Linda. Find the trust fund, key to their lies. As she shut the laptop, her reflection glared, fierce, unyielding. The investigation tightened, secrets peeling back like skin. And as she lay on the couch, evidence stacked beside her, one thought burned. Margaret's empire of hate was crumbling, and Aisha's truth would light the fuse for the final strike. You black bitch, you think you can dig into our family and walk away unscathed? Margaret's voice exploded through the hidden recording Aisha played on her laptop, the words slamming into her like fists as she and Alvin huddled in his dimly lit apartment. The audio, captured from Carla's old deposition files they'd unearthed yesterday, crackled with Margaret's rage during the 2003 lawsuit, her slurs flying at the fired black employee. Aisha's chest heaved, her fist pounding the table once, the impact jolting pain up her arms. Listen to this, she snarled, rewinding. Margaret's tirade continued. Your kind doesn't belong in our business, stealing jobs from real Americans. Aisha's breath hissed out, her teeth bared as the truth hit. This wasn't just old hate, it was a pattern, a blueprint for Margaret's current scheme. Alvin leaned in, his face twisted. That's her, same venom she threw at you. Aisha nodded, her pulse thundering, fingers scrolling to the next file. The anonymous emails unlocked attachments, Emily's messages linking everything. One stood out. Mom says once Aisha's out, we claim her assets, use the old trust fund trick like with Carla. Aisha's eyes widened, her body going rigid as connections snapped into place. The trust fund, Reynolds' family hid payoffs there. Fraud, racism, all buried. She grabbed the printed transcripts, her hands shaking, flipping pages with furious swipes. Carla's words leapt out. Margaret threatened me, said she'd ruin my life if I didn't drop the suit, paid from a secret fund. Aisha's gut clenched, bile rising as the full picture emerged. Margaret's crime, embezzling company money to silence black victims, bribing judges, all to protect their white legacy. And now the betrayal deepened. Emails showed David knew Emily pushed him. Their plan to evict Aisha timed perfectly to claim any windfall as marital, but rigged with threats to Alvin too. Look, Alvin whispered, pointing. An email from Margaret to David. If her black friend interferes, handle him. Make it look like a break-in. Aisha's blood ran cold, her fist slamming the laptop shut with a crack. They're targeting you, Alvin. To silence us, grab the money. His jaw locked, fist mirroring hers. Bastards! That's attempted murder territory. Aisha stood, pacing like a caged panther, her sneakers thudding. It's bigger. A conspiracy. Margaret's past crime. She framed Carla for theft, used the funds to cover it. Now repeating with me, evict, sue, destroy. She ripped open another file, a scanned ledger from Reynolds Realty, entries showing hush payments to officials, signed by Margaret. Her voice broke, raw. She ruined lives, black lives for profit. And Emily? Her pawn, sleeping with David, to split me off. Aisha's nails dug into her palms again, drawing blood, the sting fueling her. The plan? Get me out before the draw, but my win flipped it. They want it all, even if it means hurting Alvin. She grabbed her phone, dialing Linda mid-pace. We've got it. Margaret's embezzlement, threats to Alvin, the whole rotten core. Linda's voice cut in sharply. Send everything. This kills their lawsuit. Criminal charges possible. Aisha hung up, her breath ragged, turning to Alvin. They betrayed me from day one. Margaret orchestrated the affair. Emily executed. He nodded, his eyes blazing. We expose this. They crumble. Aisha sank into a chair, her body trembling with the weight, but her mind sharpened like a blade. Flashbacks hit. Margaret's cold handshake at the engagement, her whispers about diluting the bloodline. Now proof. Emails plotting Aisha's downfall months before the eviction, tie-ins to the family trust fund swollen with dirty money from discriminatory firings. It's evil, Aisha whispered, her voice steel. They aim to break me. Then Alvin to hoard that jackpot. She printed the ledger, her printer whirring like a war drum. Each page revealed more. Dates matching Carla's firing, payoffs to silence witnesses, Margaret's signature looping like a noose. Aisha's heart pounded, her fist crushing a page. This ends them. Alvin grabbed his keys. We secure this. Safe deposit box now. They bolted out, Aisha clutching the files to her chest, her steps pounding the stairs. In the car, she read aloud, Emily to Margaret. Aisha suspects nothing. David's ready to toss her. Her voice cracked, but fury overrode pain. At the bank, she locked the evidence away, the metal door clanging shut like a cell. Back home, exhaustion hit, but she fought it, replaying the recording. Margaret's slurs looped. Your kind... Aisha's eyes burned, tears finally spilling, hot and furious. No more, she vowed, wiping them with her sleeve. The truth was out. Margaret's crime wave. Past embezzlement to cover racism, present plot to steal Aisha's win, threats to Alvin as collateral. It all connected. A web of betrayal aimed at destroying her and her allies. Aisha stood, her shadow long and fierce. They wanted me broken. They get me armed. The revelation settled like a storm's eye, calm before destruction. And as she stared at the evidence stack, one final email fragment glowed. If she fights, eliminate the obstacles. Her breath caught, the plan's deadly edge exposed, ready to ignite the final confrontation. Hand over the evidence, you uppity black thief, or I'll make sure your shelter burns with you in it. Margaret's screech pierced the air as she lunged at Aisha in the dimly lit parking lot behind the shelter, her manicured nails clawing toward Aisha's face. Aisha dodged, her back slamming against the brick wall, breath exploding from her lungs in a sharp gasp. Touch me again, and you'll regret it, Aisha snarled, her fists rising instinctively, muscles coiled from self-defense drills. Margaret's eyes bulged, wild with hate, cutting her off mid-breath. Regret? You're the one stealing our legacy, digging into my past like some ghetto rat. She shoved Aisha harder, the impact jarring her shoulder, pain shooting down her arm. Aisha shoved back, her palms connecting with Margaret's chest, sending the older woman stumbling. Your past? Embezzlement, payoffs, framing black women. It's all out now. Margaret recovered, snarling, her hand darting to her purse, pulling a pepper spray canister. Shut your mouth. David warned me. You and that thug Alvin think you can expose us? She sprayed a burst, the mist grazing Aisha's cheek, burning like fire. Aisha's eyes watered, but she charged forward, grabbing Margaret's wrist, twisting it until the canister clattered to the ground. Alvin's no thug. He's family, unlike your racist clan. Margaret wrenched free, kneeing Aisha in the gut, the blow doubling her over, air whooshing out. Family? Your kind doesn't know family, just handouts and crime. Aisha straightened, gasping, her vision blurring but focus sharpening on Margaret's sneer. The same one from wedding photos, holidays, now twisted in fury. She lunged, tackling Margaret against a car, the metal denting under their weight. Crime? Like your trust fund scams. Paying to silence Carla, plotting my eviction? Margaret's nails raked Aisha's arm, drawing blood, hot and sticky. You know nothing. That money's ours. White blood earned it. Aisha pinned her harder, knee pressing into Margaret's thigh, eliciting a yelp. Earned? By firing blacks, bribing judges? Emails prove it. Your plan to kill my win hurt Alvin. Margaret headbutted her, forehead cracking against Aisha's nose, blood spurting. Hurt? We'll eliminate him, like we should have you. Aisha reeled, stars exploding in her head, but she held on, slamming Margaret's head back against the hood. Eliminate? That's murder! You monster! Sirens wailed distant, but Margaret laughed, hoarse and mad, kicking free and scrambling for the spray. Aisha stomped on her hand, bones crunching under her heel. No more! Margaret howled, rolling away, her face contorted. David's coming! He'll finish this! Aisha's heart hammered, her body screaming in pain, but she grabbed Margaret's collar, yanking her up. Finish! Your son's a puppet. You pulled strings for Emily's affair, the eviction, all to claim my ticket. Margaret spat in her face, saliva mixing with blood. Claim? It's rightful. Your black luck doesn't change that. Aisha wiped it off, her free hand balling into a fist, punching Margaret's jaw with a crack. Luck. I earned survival. You stole lives. Margaret slumped, but her eyes gleamed hate, whispering, Emily's inside, waiting to torch your precious shelter. Aisha's blood froze, releasing her and bolting toward the building, her legs pumping despite the agony. No! Margaret cackled behind her, scrambling to her feet. Too late! Aisha burst through the back door, smoke already curling from the kitchen. Emily there, lighter in hand, flames licking the curtains. Stop! Aisha roared, tackling Emily, the two crashing into counters, pots clanging. Emily's elbow jabbed Aisha's ribs, cracking bone. Get off, you bitch! This place is done! Aisha pinned her arms, knee grinding into Emily's back. Done? Like your fake friendship, slurs in emails, plotting with Margaret? Emily bucked, head smashing back, catching Aisha's chin, teeth rattling. Plotting? We deserve better than you. Aisha held tighter, her vision spotting black from pain, but sirens grew louder. Better? You're poison, white lies, all of you. Emily twisted, biting Aisha's forearm, teeth sinking deep. Aisha yelped, releasing just enough for Emily to flip, punching her temple. Stars burst again, but Aisha countered with a headbutt, forehead colliding with a thud. For every slur, every threat. Flames spread, heat scorching Aisha's skin. But she dragged Emily toward the door, refusing to let go. You're going down, with evidence. Emily clawed her eyes, nails gouging. Evidence burns too. Aisha slammed her against the wall, the impact dazing Emily. Police lights flashed outside, doors banging open. Aisha released her, collapsing against a table. Blood dripping, body a map of bruises. Cops rushed in, cuffing Emily as she spat curses. She's the thief! Outside, Margaret's screams echoed. Arrested too. Aisha staggered out, Alvin arriving. his arms catching her as she swayed. "You okay?" She nodded, pain lancing every breath. "They tried. Failed." Her mind raced to the safe deposit box. Evidence intact. Margaret's crimes exposed. But danger lingered. David's absence screamed setup. She clutched Alvin, her voice hoarse. "It's not over. He's next." The flames were doused, but the real fire burned in her. Justice, close but unfinished. "Run, you coward! I'll hunt you down like the black vermin you are." Emily's scream chased Aisha as she burst from the shelter's back door, flames licking behind her, her lungs burning from smoke and the gut punch of betrayal. She staggered into the parking lot, blood streaming from her nose, ribs throbbing with every breath, but her legs pumped forward, dodging cop cars screeching to a halt. "Alvin!" She gasped into her phone, clutched in a bloody hand, as she ducked behind a dumpster, heart slamming against cracked bones. "They torched it! Margaret and Emily! Get here!" His voice crackled back, engine revving. "Hold on! 2 minutes!" Sirens blared closer, cops yelling, "Freeze!" at the building. But Aisha slipped away, her sneakers scraping gravel, pain lancing her side like knives. She collapsed against a fence, wheezing, her mind racing to the safe deposit box. Evidence there, but incomplete. Margaret's words echoed, "Eliminate the obstacles." The final piece hid somewhere. David's house, their old files. She pushed off the fence, jogging despite the agony, her vision spotting black. Alvin's car skidded up, door flying open. "Get in!" She dove inside, slamming it shut as he peeled out, tires screeching. "Hospital?" He barked, eyes on the rear view. "No, David's place. Break in. Final proof's there." Alvin's grip tightened on the wheel. "You're bleeding everywhere." She wiped blood from her lips, spitting it out the window. "Drive." Margaret confessed. "Embezzlement. Threats to you. But we need the ledger originals." He nodded, accelerating, the car jolting over potholes, each bump jarring her ribs. "Cops got them?" Aisha shook her head, wincing. "Distracted by fire. We grab it, and this." They screeched to a stop near David's house. Lights off, but the SUV parked out front screamed trap. Aisha grabbed a crowbar from the trunk, her hands slick with blood. "Back door." They crept around, her breath shallow, crowbar prying the lock with a snap. Inside, darkness swallowed them. Aisha flicked on a flashlight, beam cutting through dust. "Office, files there." Alvin covered her, his footsteps silent. She rifled drawers, papers flying, her fingers staining them red. "Here, trust fund docs." She yanked a folder, scanning. Ledgers showing payoffs, Margaret's signatures on bribes, emails printed, proof of framing Carla, plotting against Aisha. "This ties it all," she whispered, stuffing them into her bag. But footsteps thudded upstairs. David. "Who's there?" he bellowed, charging down, gun in hand. Aisha's heart stopped. She grabbed Alvin, diving behind the desk as a shot cracked, a bullet embedding in wood. "You!" David roared, spotting her. "Thief!" Alvin tackled him, the gun skidding away, fists flying in a blur. "Run, Aisha!" She bolted for the door, bag clutched, but David threw Alvin off, lunging at her, hand clamping her throat. "Give it back!" She kneed his groin, his grip loosening with a grunt. "Never!" She scrambled for the gun, fingers closing around it, pointing shakily. "Back off!" David froze, hands up, face twisted. "You won't shoot." Aisha's finger trembled on the trigger, rage boiling, his slurs, eviction, affair flashing. But she lowered it, kicking it away. "Not worth it. Cops will bury you." Alvin rose, pinning David against the wall, fist cocked. "Call Linda," he growled. Aisha dialed, voice steady despite pain. "We've got originals, ledgers, everything. David's here. Assault." Linda's voice cut sharply. "Hold him. Police en route." Aisha hung up, her body sagging, but she rifled more drawers, finding a hidden safe. Code from emails. Wedding date. It clicked open, revealing tapes. Old recordings of Margaret's racist rants. Payoffs to silence victims. "Jackpot," Aisha hissed, pocketing them. David struggled, spitting. "Mom'll fix this. You're nothing." Alvin punched his gut, doubling him over. "She's done." Sirens wailed again. Aisha stuffed the tapes in her bag, her chest heaving. This exposes your whole family. Crimes, hate, all. David slumped, defeated, but his eyes gleamed with malice. Emily's free. She'll finish you. Aisha's blood chilled, but she stood tall, bag heavy with truth. Cops burst in, cuffing David as he cursed. She's the criminal. Aisha handed over the bag. Evidence, arson, fraud, threats. Medics arrived, wrapping her wounds, but she waved them off. Shelter first. Alvin drove her back, flames out, shelter damaged but standing. Maya hugged her tight. You saved us. Aisha winced, but grinned fiercely. Not yet. Tapes proved Margaret's past murders and threats. She played one for Linda over the phone. Margaret's voice. Eliminate that black obstacle. Linda whistled. Irrefutable. Court tomorrow. Aisha collapsed on a bench, Alvin beside her, his hand on hers. We did it! Her body screamed, but victory pulsed. Final evidence clutched, ready to shatter their empire. The night air cooled her burns, but the real heat built for the exposure ahead. Admit it, you racist scum. Your family's empire crumbles now. Aisha's voice thundered in the courtroom, her finger jabbing at Margaret across the aisle, the judge's gavel slamming to silence the gasps from the gallery. Her ribs screamed from last night's brawl, bandages hidden under her blouse. But she stood tall, evidence bag clutched like a weapon as Linda projected the ledgers on the screen. Margaret's face paled, her lips twisting into a snarl. Lies! That black woman's forging everything! She lunged from her seat, but bailiffs restrained her, her nails scraping wood. David, cuffed beside her, averted his eyes, sweat beading on his forehead. Mom, shut up, he muttered. But Aisha cut in sharply. Shut up? Like you shut me out. With $50 in slurs? The judge leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Order. Ms. Thompson, present your case. Aisha nodded, her pulse pounding, handing Linda the tapes. Play it. The recording blared, Margaret's voice venomous from years ago. Eliminate that black obstacle. Use the fund. Gasps rippled. Margaret's lawyer jumped up. Irrelevant, Linda fired back. Relevant. Proves pattern, embezzlement, threats, arson last night. Aisha stepped closer to the stand, her voice slicing air. You plotted my eviction, Margaret. Emails show it. Emily torched my shelter on your orders. Emily, in the dock, spat. She's lying. Jealous black bitch. The judge hammered the gavel again, but Aisha didn't flinch, her eyes locking on Emily. Jealous? Of your white lies? You slept with my husband to steal my life. David shifted, chains rattling. Aisha, please. She whirled on him. Please. You knew about the fraud, the payoffs to silence black victims like Carla. Linda flashed the transcripts. Carla's firing, Margaret's signatures on bribes. The gallery murmured, reporters scribbling furiously. Margaret's face crumpled, but she snarled. That was business. Your kind always complains. Aisha's fist slammed the railing, pain flaring in her hand. Business? Framing innocence? Threatening Alvin to grab my jackpot? Alvin stood in the back, nodding fiercely, his presence a shield. The judge's voice boomed. Enough! Evidence? Linda played the final tape from David's safe, Margaret's recent rant. If she fights, eliminate her and that thug friend. Old ways. The courtroom erupted. Margaret collapsed into her seat, sobbing fake tears. It's edited, her lawyer pleaded, but Linda countered with originals, a chain of custody ironclad. Aisha faced the judge, voice steady. They targeted me for being black, evicted me to claim my win, burned my shelter to silence me. The judge's eyes hardened. Bail denied, charges upgraded, arson, conspiracy, fraud. Bailiffs hauled Margaret away, her screams echoing. You'll pay, you uppity! Aisha cut her off, voice booming. I already paid with blood. Now you do. David broke, head down. I'm sorry, Mom pushed me. Aisha's laugh was cold. Sorry? Your family's hate poisoned you. Emails prove you planned it all. Linda sealed it. Dismiss their lawsuit. Award damages to Ms. Thompson. The judge nodded, gavel falling like thunder. Granted, Case closed. Cheers from the gallery, shelter women hugging, Alvin fist pumping. Aisha staggered out, ribs aching, but triumph surging. Reporters swarmed. How's it feel? She faced the cameras, voice firm. Justice. For every black woman they crushed. Alvin pulled her into a hug, his grip steady. You did it. She nodded, tears stinging, but she wiped them fast. The reveal shattered them. Margaret's crimes public, David's complicity exposed, Emily's role as pawn laid bare. Court transcripts would spread, their white legacy in ruins. Isha clutched the verdict papers, her body bruised but spirit unbroken. Rebuild starts now. The courthouse steps gleamed under lights, her shadow long and victorious, the final truth ablaze that lit the path to healing. Rot in hell, you white supremacist hag. Your hate ends today. Aisha's roar echoed off the courtroom walls as Margaret was dragged away in cuffs, her face a mask of twisted fury, spitting back. You'll never erase our legacy, you filthy... Bailiffs yanked her harder, her words choking off in a gag as the door slammed shut behind her. Aisha's chest heaved, her fists clenched at her sides, nails drawing fresh blood from palms still raw from the fight. The judge's gavel cracked like a whip, finalizing the sentence. Margaret Reynolds, guilty on all counts. Fraud, arson, conspiracy. 20 years. Gas rippled through the gallery, but Aisha stood unyielding, her eyes locked on David, who slumped in his seat, chains rattling as he buried his face in his hands. David Reynolds, accessory to fraud, 5 years probation, community service. David's lawyer protested, Your Honor, but the judge cut him off sharply. Denied. Pay restitution, full jackpot to Ms. Thompson, plus damages. Isha's pulse thundered, her body still aching from bruises, but victory surged like adrenaline, washing away the pain. Emily, trembling in the dock, got her turn. Guilty, arson, conspiracy, 10 years. Emily lunged at the barrier, screaming, She deserved it. That black witch stole everything. Aisha stepped forward, voice ablade. Stole? You stole my trust, my home. Now rot. Bailiffs hauled Emily out, her kicks futile, door banging shut. The courtroom cleared, reporters swarming Aisha outside, microphones thrusting. How's justice feel? She faced them, chin high, voice steady. Like chains breaking. For every black woman you crushed. Flashes blinded her, but she pushed through, Alvin at her side, his arm supportive. You nailed them. She nodded, her ribs protesting, but she straightened. All knots untied, emails, ledgers, tapes, their webs shredded. Back at the shelter, charred but standing, women gathered, hugging her tight. Maya gripped her shoulders. They can't touch us now. Aisha's eyes stung, but she blinked hard, voice firm. Restitution funds rebuild, bigger, stronger. Cheers erupted, her heart swelling as kids drew murals on fresh walls, black queens rising. She knelt by one girl, fist bumping. Your future's free. The girl beamed, crayon tight in her hand. Aisha rose, overseeing repairs, her hands directing workers, each command a strike against the past. Linda called. Sentences stick, no appeals, funds frozen, assets seized. Aisha's laugh was fierce. Good. Donate their legacy to anti-racism groups. She hung up, turning to Alvin. Every thread resolved. Carla's justice, too. Payoffs exposed. He nodded, pulling her close. You win. She leaned in, pain fading in his warmth. Our win. Days blurred into action, court orders enforced, Margaret's business dissolved, assets liquidated to victims. Aisha visited Carla, handing a check. Your share, from their dirt. Carla hugged her, tears flowing. You avenged us all. Aisha's throat tightened, but she swallowed, voice strong. No more silence. Media stormed. Headlines blared. Racism ring busted. Black woman triumphs. Aisha faced interviews, her words cutting. They built on hate. We built on strength. Calls flooded the shelter. Donations, volunteers. She organized, her movements crisp, directing funds to therapy, jobs. One night alone, she played the old recording one last time. Margaret's slurs fading into static. She deleted it, her finger decisive. Done. Alvin entered, handing tea. Peace? She sipped, warmth spreading. Finally. But echoes lingered. David's probation meant service at the shelter under her watch. She smirked. He'll learn. The last knot. Emily's appeals denied. Prison transfer confirmed. Aisha signed the final papers, pen scratching victory. Her body healed, scars fading, but her spirit scarred tough. The shelter reopened, ribbon cut with her hands, cheers thundering. Justice served, she whispered, eyes on the horizon. Yet redemption loomed. David's first day approached, a chance for change on a grand scale. I'll burn every last trace of our hate if it kills me. You black survivors deserve that much. David's voice cracked through the prison phone line, his face pressed against the glass as Aisha sat opposite, her arms crossed, ribs still tender from the fight, but her stare unyielding. She leaned forward, voice a whip. Deserve? After your family's poison nearly killed me. David flinched, his knuckles whitening on the receiver. I know. Mom's locked up, Emily too. But I'm changing, starting with this. He slid a folder under the partition. Plans for a foundation, funded by seized Reynolds assets. Isha snatched it, flipping pages with sharp snaps, her eyes scanning. Reynolds Redemption Fund, anti-racism grants, black community support, millions poured in. Her jaw tightened, teeth grinding as memories flashed. His slurs, the eviction, but she saw the scale. Scholarships for black women, shelter expansions nationwide, policy changes in companies like his old bank. Why now, she demanded, slamming the folder down. David met her gaze, voice steady. Guilt eats me. Probation forces service here, but this, voluntary. Sell the family estate, funnel it all. Aisha's fist balled, but hope flickered, her pulse quickening. Prove it. Sign over now. He nodded, pen scratching as witnesses watched, transferring deeds, accounts, hundreds of thousands redirected. She stood, receiver clattering. Not enough. Implement it. Weeks flew by. David, under guard, showed at the shelter, sleeves rolled, scrubbing floors with raw hands. This spot, your blood from the arson, he muttered, sponge soaking red-tinged water. Aisha watched, arms crossed. Scrub harder. Erase your mom's threats. He did, backbending, sweat pouring, but he pushed on, organizing fund drives. She joined a meeting, boardroom packed with black leaders, David presenting, policy overhaul. My bank adopts diversity mandates, hires from shelters like this. Isha interrupted, voice cutting. Mandates? Train them on racism. Your racism. He agreed, fists tight, rolling out workshops, his voice breaking as he confessed. I enabled it. Slurs, eviction, no more. Funds flowed, shelter rebuilt, gleaming, new wings for therapy, jobs. Aisha oversaw, her hands directing builders, each nail a strike for hope. This wing, for Carla, she said, plaque hammered in. Carla attended the opening, hugging David stiffly. You owe us. He nodded, voice low. Paying daily. Scale grew, national chapters, grants to anti-bias groups, David lobbying old contacts. Change your hiring or lose business. Resistance hit. A white exec snarled, You're betraying us. David shoved him back. Betraying hate, join or fall. Aisha watched via video, her chest swelling. He's breaking chains. But doubt nagged. She confronted him at probation check-in. Fake redemption? He grabbed her arm gently, eyes fierce. Real. Funds at 10 mil. Your jackpot matched. She wrenched free but nodded. Expand. Black-owned businesses. Education. He did, launching programs, his hands signing checks. Body exhausted but driven. At a gala, David spoke, voice booming. My family built on racism, I tear it down. Applause thundered. Aisha stood beside, her hand on his shoulder. Brief, firm. Keep going. He poured more. Company policies rewritten, diversity hires spiking. Aisha visited one. Black women in offices, thriving. You're doing, one said. David shrugged. Ours. Scale peaked. Foundation partners with BLM groups. Funding reforms. Aisha led a rally, David beside her chanting, "No more silence!" His voice cracked, but he pushed on. She pulled him aside after. "This redeems." He met her eyes. "Starts to." Her nod was grudging, but real. Hope blooming. Funds rebuilt communities. Shelters in every state. Scholarships for thousands. Aisha oversaw, her energy fierce, directing allocations. This city, new center. Builders hammered, her vision rising. David visited sites, tools in hand, building walls he once tore down. "For you," he whispered. She punched his arm, lightly. "For us, all black survivors." His laugh was raw, but he worked harder. Final act, policy push, lobbying for anti-discrimination laws, David testifying in D.C., voice strong. "I was the problem. Now the solution." Bills passed, his efforts key. Aisha watched on TV, fist pumping. He did it. Back home, Alvin hugged her. "Redemption's real." She nodded, scars fading, hope solid. The fund grew, errors corrected on a massive scale. Hate's roots uprooted, new growth planted. And as Aisha stood at the expanded shelter, ribbon in hand, David's figure in the crowd nodded. Change etched in action, ready for a brighter legacy. "Watch me shatter your hate into hope. You thought you broke me, but I rebuilt us all." Aisha's voice rang out at the grand opening of the expanded shelter, her fist raised high as she cut the ribbon. The crowd erupting in cheers that drowned out the ghosts of Margaret's slurs. She stood on the steps, Alvin at her side, his hand in hers, their fingers interlocking like unbreakable chains forged from fire. The building gleamed, new wings for therapy, job centers, classrooms buzzing with black women learning trades, kids painting murals of queens rising. "This is our family now," Aisha declared, her chest swelling, voice booming over the speakers. Maya hugged her tight, whispering, "You made this." Aisha nodded, her scars itching under her shirt, but she pushed through, greeting donors, volunteers, faces from the old days, Carla beaming as she led a workshop. "Your fight saved me," Carla said, gripping Aisha's arm. Aisha pulled her close. "Ours, together." David approached, probation anklet hidden under pants, his eyes down but his steps firm. "The funds hit 20 mil, expanding to 5 states. Aisha eyed him, voice sharp. "Actions speak. Keep proving." He nodded, rolling sleeves to join builders, hammer swinging, his swings deliberate, each nail a penance. She watched, hope solidifying, her heart steady. Weeks turned to months. The shelter thrived. Women graduating programs, landing jobs, breaking cycles. Aisha led sessions, her words fierce. "They called us burdens. We're forces." Laughter filled rooms, kids playing, a new family knit from shared strength. Alvin proposed one evening. Ring simple, his knee on the shelter floor. "Build with me, forever." Aisha's breath caught, tears spilling, but she yanked him up, kissing him hard. "Yes, our empire." The wedding was small. Shelter grounds, black queens in attendance. David witnessing from the back, his nod respectful. Vows exchanged, rings sliding on, Aisha whispered. "From eviction to this, resilience wins." Honeymoon skipped. They dove into work, expanding the foundation. Grants flowing, policies shifting in companies. David's old bank, now an equity model. He testified again, voice strong. "I was blind, now I see." Aisha stood beside, her hand brief on his shoulder. "Keep seeing." Communities transformed, shelters sprouting in Columbus, then nationwide, black-owned businesses funded, and education barriers smashed. Aisha visited one in Atlanta, where women hugged her. "Your story saved me." She knelt, voice soft. "Ours. Pass it on." Back home, she and Alvin welcomed a foster kid, a little girl with fire in her eyes, coloring horses purple like the old days. "You're safe," Aisha said, hugging her tight. The girl nodded, crayon flying. Nights, Aisha reflected, scars traced under fingers, eviction rain, arson flames, courtroom battles. "Lesson learned," she told Alvin, head on his chest. "Hate divides, resilience unites." He kissed her forehead. "And love rebuilds." The foundation grew global. Partnerships in Africa, anti-racism curricula in schools, David's service evolving to leadership, and his guilt channeled into action. "I owe you eternity," he told Aisha at a board meeting. She met his eyes. "Pay with change, not words." He did. Policies enacted, lives lifted, final threads resolved. Margaret's letters from prison, begging forgiveness, ignored. Emily's appeals denied, silence golden. Aisha burned old photos, David's family sneers turning to ash. "Past gone," she said, flames dancing in her eyes. The shelter hosted annual galas, stories shared, women rising from ashes, kids dreaming big. Aisha spoke last. "They threw me out with $50. I turned it into millions, but the real win? Us, strong, united, unbreakable." Cheers thundered, her voice rising. Lesson: betrayal forges warriors. Racism crumbles under truth. Rise always. Alvin pulled her close, the crowd a sea of fists raised. Years blurred, the girl they fostered grew, leading workshops, her voice echoing Aisha's. "Auntie taught me, hate loses." Aisha watched, tears proud. "Pass it." The family expanded, more fosters, community as kin. Alvin built playgrounds, his hands calloused. "For our legacy." Aisha nodded, pregnant now, hand on her belly. Black, bold, free. David reformed, mentored youth. His fund is billion strong. "Your spark," he told her. She smiled faintly. "Our fire." The end came full circle. At the original shelter, now a monument, Aisha stood with Alvin, watching the sun set on murals. "From rain to this," she whispered. He kissed her. "Love conquers." The lesson crystallized. Resilience turns pain to power, hate to hope, betrayal to bonds unbreakable. And as stars emerged, Aisha's family, blood and chosen, gathered, laughter ringing, a future bright and unyielding. In the end, this story reminds us that resilience in the face of betrayal and racism can transform pain into unbreakable strength, turning injustice into empowerment for ourselves and our communities. If this tale resonates with you, share your thoughts or your own stories of overcoming adversity in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you've risen above. Thank you for joining us today. Stay strong, and we'll see you in the next one.